Thanks for joining me on Victory Independence. I wanted to talk to you guys and brainstorm about how to get a job. So if somebody's unemployed right now, this video is specifically for you. If you're not unemployed or maybe you just got a job, please share your ideas as well, because this really is just a brainstorming video trying to help and possibly inspire someone off of our ideas. Just give them some fresh ideas. Maybe these are old to them or new to them, but let's just brainstorm together and try to help some people out there who don't have jobs. Okay, if I did not have work, the first thing I would do was obviously what you probably did. You'd probably go out and apply for everything, every business that you feel your resume is qualified for. But right now, with 6-to-1 ratios, six people looking for a job and applying for that one position that's open, that's nationally, more than likely there's a lot of people already out there with your resume. There's at least 6, maybe more. Especially in industries like the teaching industry, there's probably 50 teachers applying for the same one position. If you're in the financial industry, I mean, you're going to be in line with the Countrywide guy, IndyMac, Wachovia, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and right down the line. So there's probably 100 of those resumes for every one position that's open. I know people who, great qualified individuals, who've been laid off for almost a year and a half now. And it's because they simply just have this resume that everybody else has. So I would lean hard on who you know, not what you know. I would rely on, I would think deep, if you know any business owners. And right now when I ask you, do you know any business owners, your first reaction might be no. But think about it. In the last 5 years, have you come across any business owners that you know? Do you do business regularly with the local business that might have some compassion? Maybe you know the guy at the mail place, the private mail place, and you go and you talk to him every single week. You know what? You know a business owner and you do business with him, and he might be a person you could ask for a job and ask for an application. Church members who know business owners or are in a position of hiring, as well as executives or somebody who's close to an executive. Maybe you don't know a business owner, but maybe you know a secretary who has become close with her boss. Or close with his boss, or an assistant, or maybe you know a lieutenant for the sheriff's department and he's got a connection in the county. I mean, whatever, you got to really think deep about those connections you have, because I know you have them. Scrape the bottom of the barrel for ideas when it comes to who you know that might even know somebody. So it might not be who you know, but someone you know knows somebody who knows somebody. That would be my first response. Business ideas. If you have a business idea, and be as realistic as possible. I'm not saying you should shoot yourself down, but be realistic about the economy. The lucky thing for you, if you're watching this video, you know what the economy is going to look like in 2 years, and 5 years, and 10 years. You know the trends, the demographic changes this country's going through. So unlike the people who are borrowing money to keep up a dead business, or going back to school to invest their time into a dead career, you don't have to make that decision like the masses do. So if you don't think it's going to be a depression-related job, a job that's going to be around, don't waste your time on it. But back to business ideas. If you have a business idea and you think it'll work, but you don't have the money, reach out to those who do have the money. Show them. Believe me, people are always talking about how the rich are just going to hoard their money. No. People with money want to invest the money. They want that money to constantly be at work. In fact, I would say their savings is probably low, because most of it is probably actually should be in the investment category. When I was doing a lot of real estate transactions in the earlier part of this decade, I would do so many transactions by myself. But in order to expand that, I had this partner, man. This guy could write a check for anything he wanted. And, me and him did a lot of transactions. And, you just reach out to those who have money. MLMs. This is huge on YouTube. A lot of people email me all the time with a new MLM idea, multi-level marketing. My advice to you is to be careful with these things. The reason I'm cautious with MLMs, that people have made a lot of good money from them. Great businesses, they're legal businesses. They get the pyramid scam thing, but there's a lot of pyramids in this economy that no one questions. So MLMs, anyway, the reason I say be careful is because the reason an MLM is hard for me to swallow, Because let's say you're a police officer or a business owner, let's say you're a real estate guy or unemployed. All of a sudden you're going from being the police officer in the family or the real estate guy in the family or the unemployed person in the family right now to the expert on long distance telephone lines. So that's my problem with the MLMs, is because all of a sudden overnight you become this expert. And the problem is you're really not an expert, and your family doesn't perceive you as an expert. So it's going to be hard to sell to friends and family because they simply see you as, like for me, they see me as Danny. So they don't see me as the guy selling cell phones or long distance lines for ACN or whatever these guys are. Another thing, going back to school, I mentioned this a little earlier. Look, I mean, let's be real. Teachers were laid off last year, this year. Going to be laid off. They're going to continue to be laid off. States are just starting the cutbacks. If you're going back to school, you might not want to double down on degrees that aren't going to go anywhere, because even if there was a recovery, they're not going to hire the new teacher that just graduated college. They're going to hire the teacher that was working for 6 years that got pink slip last year or this year or next year. Same thing with business degrees. Honestly, I think business degree is probably the worst degree to get for the next 10 years. And I understand if you want to take business classes and stuff because you want to learn about business, you want to learn about economic cycles and economics, but look, the business degree itself, man, that thing is going to be a dime a dozen for a long, long time. And honestly, in my opinion, just like the financial capital of the world used to be London, and then it moved to New York, I think the financial capital is exiting the United States anyway. So those business degrees are really only going to be applicable in Hong Kong and Shanghai, Beijing. Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? Oh, back to school. Some of you may say, hey, back to school is not an option for me. I'm 40 years old, I'm 30 years old, I can't do it. I already have 4 kids. My suggestion would be to really think of those industries. I'll be honest with you, I'm sorry I'm not more creative when it comes to this, but look, I would think about the fundamentals, food industry, grocery industry, energy industry, those type of things, just basic fundamental jobs that are still going to be intact. And I'm not saying there's not going to be layoffs in the grocery industry, as there already have been grocery stores that have been closing down in California. And we've lost some of our biggest names, Wonder Bread and Mother's Cookie. Now they've since been revived by other companies who bought their recipes, but those original institutions, those are gone. But I think those industries are safer than, selling cell phones at the mall. And the last thing I want to talk about was marriage. Marriage, man, it can be so stressful. This is just to the wives out there. Being a man and being a husband, I can tell you from my perspective of being a man and being a husband. Man, if he's out there looking for a job, if he's getting in a suit or dress clothes every day looking for a job, and he comes home and he can't find a job, be as delicate as possible. I mean, it is so hard for a man to not have a job, to not be able to provide income for his family, especially when it's needed, especially if you're already behind on the bills. He knows you're behind on the bills. He doesn't need you to remind him that he's behind on the bills. They say the number one reason for divorce is money. So right now is a very stressful time for you if your husband is laid off. There's a lot of people not finding jobs for a year, 2 years. Unemployment benefits, emergency unemployment benefits are over 5.5 million now people. It's escalating, it's accelerating every single month. So it's not him. At least more than likely it's not him. Maybe if he's not going out looking for jobs. But look, I guess to sum it up real quick, just go easy on the guy. Believe me, it's painful for a man to come home and every day, his wife goes, well, how did it go today? And, every day the answer is going to be the same. So just be loving towards him, support him, give him the confidence that he needs to go out there and do those interviews. Anyway, guys, God bless. Bye.